Palomalu coming for the headshot kill. Do you like Lamar? And got me saying sorry, Miss Jackson. I'm sorry if you're missing that action by the legend Imari Jackson. Clean like a Sunday suit jacket. He be the real deal package. What I really mean to say is, ain't no off season.
Hello YouTube, welcome to No Offseason Media. I'm your host, Amari Sports. In today's video, we're going to the Week 10 picks, which spread I feel comfortable as far as picking these games provided by Vegas. But before I get started, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment and subscribe for more content available. And then don't forget to click the notification bell on the bottom right corner to indicate and notify you when I post a new video. And also don't forget to share this video to see how I'm going to be competing against all these other bettors. But for more content available, don't forget to click the notification bell and also don't forget to subscribe. Anyways, let's get it started. First matchup, we have the Baltimore Ravens traveling down to Miami to play the Miami Dolphins. Baltimore opens up as a 7.5 point favorite against the Dolphins. I like Miami and the 7.5 points here, and I like the Ravens to still win this game. Lamar Jackson has a very good record whenever he plays on these standalone games, Sunday night, Monday night, or whatever it is. Lamar Jackson always produce. But I do think that the Dolphins will keep this game a little bit closer. I'm not sure if Tua Tagovailoa starts this week or it's going to be Jacoby Brissett. Now Tua is going to be day-to-day with that broken bone in his throwing finger. But I still like the Dolphins here, and I think with the Ravens defensively weren't able to stop Minnesota, Cincinnati. I really like the Ravens to win this game, but I do like the Dolphins to cover, and I think that this could be somewhat of a touchdown game. I think the half, I just have to take away from that. I think the Dolphins will keep this game close, whether it's Jacoby Brissett or it's Tua Tagovailoa. I have the Ravens win this matchup against the Miami Dolphins. Ravens win 30-23 over the Miami Dolphins. For our Sunday's matchup, the first one, we have the New Orleans Saints traveling to Nashville to play the Tennessee Titans. Now, Tennessee came off an upside win against the Rams, and now Vegas has the Tennessee Titans favored by 3 points against the New Orleans Saints. Now, what could tell me about this line is that if this game was on a neutral field, it could be, if it was in the Superdome, maybe the Saints would be favored. If it was in Nashville like it is now, maybe the Tennessee Titans are favored. But the Tennessee Titans got a big win on a standalone game, and I really, really like the Saints here coming off a loss to the Falcons. I think with this Saints team coming off a loss to the Falcons, you know Sean Payton always regroups his squad after a bad loss. And keep in mind, the score says Atlanta won by 2. But if you pay attention to that game, this game was pretty much out of hand, and then the Falcons are just blowing this lead against the Saints. So I just think that with Tennessee Titans flying high, congratulations, you beat the Bills, Chiefs, the Colts, and now the Rams. When are they going to start pulling back? And I think in this matchup, the Saints is the perfect matchup where they start pulling back. I know they didn't run the ball that much, but they really didn't play offensively that much because their defense was shutting down the Rams. So I really, really like the Saints here to win this game in Nashville and to keep this game, well, pretty much as an upset. I will take the Saints to win this game over the Tennessee Titans. Saints win 24-20 over the Tennessee Titans. Next matchup, we have the Buffalo Bills traveling to East Rutherford to play the New York Jets. And the Buffalo Bills is coming off as a 12-point favorite against the New York Jets. Now, Mike White is projected to play in this game. As of right now, he is playing. And now Josh Allen is coming off a loss to Josh Allen. Now, they do start off slow. We've seen it against Houston. We've seen it against Washington, or a handful of teams as well, too. Even Tennessee, but they kicked it off and then they just slowed off at the end. But I think with this Buffalo team, they don't know how to run the football. They're not going to run the football. When you give it to your running back only 6 to 8 times or whatever the number was, you're probably going to lose the game. And we've seen that Stephon Diggs was not even a factor in that game because Josh Allen kept passing it to Emmanuel Sanders. And I think when this matchup, you got to take the Bills here. Bills are going to try to come back. But what does worry me about this taking this line, Josh Allen's last performances against the Jets, he has never covered the spread, especially in East Rutherford. Last year, I think the Bills were favored by 14 points. The Bills won by 8. I think it was like 18-10 game. And then a year prior, they played the Jets. They were down 16-0. and then Josh Allen scored 17 unanswered points to beat the Jets. So I just think in this matchup, you got to take the Buffalo Bills here. I think the Buffalo Bills will be the play, but it does worry me that Josh Allen hasn't covered spreads in East Rutherford when he has played against the Jets. But I will take the Bills here. Bills win 31-17 over the New York Jets. Next matchup was the Detroit Lions coming off their bye week to play the Pittsburgh Steelers coming off a Monday night win against the Chicago Bears. Now Vegas has the Steelers favored by 9.5. If you're a professional bettor and you know how the Steelers are, never bet the Steelers when they're close to a double-digit favorite. I like Detroit here plus the 9.5, but I think the Steelers still win this game outright. And the reason why is because when it comes to the Lions, they play better against good teams. We've seen this against the Rams. We've seen it with San Francisco. We have seen this against the Packers. They try to cover until that half, and then they couldn't do it. The Ravens are a very good team. The Lions have covered. Like when they played a bad team like a Philadelphia team, they got blown out by like 44-6. So I just think in this matchup, I do like the Lions here coming off the bye week, and maybe Dan Campbell has this team fired up. But let's talk about Pittsburgh for a side. They got bailed out last week with that egregious taunting call that was disgusting, and now they're coming off a short week now playing against the Lions. Now I don't trust Pittsburgh coming off a short week. We've seen this time and time again. Pittsburgh is not ready. Last year when they played against the Cincinnati Bengals and lost that game, they played against Buffalo and then got blown out. So I do think that the Steelers will win this game, but I think they'll fail to cover. Now keep in mind the Lions have never won in this against Pittsburgh since 1955. So I like the Steelers to win this game and don't cover. Lions cover. So Steelers win 27-20 over the Detroit Lions. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis came off a 45-point performance against the Jets, and the Jacksonville Jaguars finally got a win against a winning opponent in the Buffalo Bills. Vegas has the Colts favored by 10.5. I really like the Colts in the 10.5, and it's kind of tricky because all the public's going to bet Jacksonville after beating the Bills that are supposedly going to be our Super Bowl contenders. But I think we've seen this time and time again. When the Jacksonville Jaguars, when they won that game in London against the Dolphins, what happened the next week? They got blown out by Seattle. I think it's going to happen the exact same time here. They beat the Buffalo Bills, but I think they get probably blown out by the Colts. And I think the Colts can win by 2 touchdowns here. But what does worry me about the Colts is their passing offense. And I do know whenever the Colts play the Jags, especially in Jacksonville, they do not cover. But in Indianapolis, they always do cover, except for last year and a handful of times when they have Blake Bortles as quarterback. So Colts win over the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-13 and cover the spread. Next matchup, we have an NFC wildcard matchup. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing against the Washington football team. Tampa Bay came off a loss against the Saints and then had their bye week, and same thing with the Washington football team, came off a loss against Denver and then had their bye week. So two teams are very fresh in this matchup. Now Vegas has the Buccaneers minus 9.5. Now everybody's gonna say bet Washington, bet Washington, bet Washington. I think in this matchup you gotta take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. Tom Brady coming off a bye, he's pissed, especially coming off a loss. And I think that his Washington front that hasn't been very good. Now I do know they held Denver to 17 points, and that same Denver team put up 30 points on the Dallas Cowboys. But I think with Washington's team, it's still a bad defense. I think they need to work some stuff. Jamin Davis needs to get something worked out there, and also with Chase Young, they need to work some stuff out. So I really like Tampa Bay Buccaneers come back. Now, Antonio Brown might come back in this matchup. That's what makes me love Tampa even more. So Tampa, Tom Brady pissed off coming off a loss. AB, Gronk, pieces coming back. I think this just smells blowout Tampa Bay. So I like the Buccaneers to beat the Washington football team 37-20. I think they cover. I think Washington's a bad team, and it's time to look for a new replacement for Taylor Heinicke, and I won't be surprised if Taylor Heinicke turns over the ball. Next matchup, we have the Cleveland Browns against the New England Patriots. Now, both teams are 5-4, and everybody wants to say that maybe Cleveland's coming back together, or is the Patriots looking better than we expected. Now, Vegas has the Patriots favored by 1.5. And I think in this matchup, I'm gonna have to take the side of the Patriots here, especially at home. Now, Bill Belichick is a former coach of the Cleveland Browns. You know, he always had the chip on his shoulder, wondering, why'd you guys get rid of me? Still holding that grudge. I mean, it's like getting rid of a bad girlfriend, like an ex-girlfriend gets rid of you and you still hate her guts. That's how I feel with Bill Belichick playing against the Cleveland Browns. Now there's news that Nick Chubb and Demetrius Felton is going to be out of this game. And that means Dearness Johnson is going to have to be the prime running back. Now Kareem Hunt is put on IR, so that's really going to add a lot of pressure against Baker Mayfield. And I just think that with Mac Jones coming back home, now the Patriots only have a 1-4 record at home, but the 4 teams they lost to are the Dolphins, who are now 2-8, the Saints, who were good, valuable to make the playoffs. Right now they're in the playoff picture. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are in the playoff picture, and the Dallas Cowboys, who we thought were really good until they lost to Denver. I just think that in this matchup, Baker's going to be overwhelmed by this Patriot defensive front, and I think as well with that is that they're going to rely on Baker to keep passing this ball, because they're going to shut down the run game. Because you shut down the run game on Baker Mayfield, he is pedestrian. And I think the Patriots are able to do that. Now, last week against Carolina, they were able to shut down Christian McCaffrey, and look how Sam Darnold turned out to be. I think it's going to be the exact same game plan against this Cleveland defense, offensive front, and especially with this Cleveland offense. Now, I'm going to take the Patriots to win this game and to cover this 1.5 point spread. Patriots win 24-19. Mac Jones does not play a factor. Baker Mayfield does not play a factor. Patriots will try to run the ball and win this game, and I think the Cleveland Browns will try to do the same. Next matchup, we have the Atlanta Falcons traveling to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Dallas came off one of their ugliest losses I ever can remember with Dak Prescott, and the Atlanta Falcons came off of a game-winning field goal against the New Orleans Saints. Now, Vegas has the Dallas Cowboys favored by 8.5. I am very tricky about which one I want to go to. Will Dallas bounce back, or will Atlanta, will they keep it close, or will they fall like they have fall against good teams? I really like the Dallas Cowboys and the 8.5 bouncing back against the Atlanta Falcons. Their defense will try to get better. Their offense will try to get better. Dak Prescott had a very bad game. He will try to get back up to spar on that. And also, Ezekiel Elliott was not even a main factor at all against this team of the Atlanta Falcons. But what was the problem with the Atlanta Falcons? They couldn't stop the Saints wide receivers, and especially from Alvin Kamara, from pass catching the ball out of the backfield. I think with this Cowboys team, we'll try to get better on that. I think that the Falcons are doomed for a rude awakening. And let's not forget, this is a Dan Quinn revenge game. So he knows exactly what advantages and the disadvantages of Matt Ryan, what he do and doesn't like. So I just think that in this matchup, you got to take the Cowboys here. The Cowboys are to play. Maybe they bounce back. I told you, I'm very tricky on this game. I don't know who to pick, but I'm going to go with the Cowboys on the safe side, because Atlanta, they blew the lead. They should have lost to the Saints, but Cordell Patterson saved them at the end. So I'm going to take the Cowboys to win this game over the Atlanta Falcons, 33-23. Dallas Cowboys win and covers the spread. Let's get to our late matchups. We have the Carolina Panthers traveling down to Glendale, Arizona to play the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I do not know if Kyler Murray is going to be playing this game. Now, if it's Colt McCoy, I'm probably still going to take the Cardinals, but the Cardinals are favored by 10.5 against this Panthers team. Sam Darnold's not playing, and maybe Kyler Murray is not going to be playing, so maybe a backup of the backup quarterbacks here. But Vegas has that 10.5. I'm probably going to still take the Cardinals to win this game and to cover. With the Panthers, they're not able to stop the run as much, and they're going to keep using James Conner and Eno Benjamin to pretty much alleviate some pressure off of Colt McCoy. And I think this defensive front for the Arizona Cardinals will suffocate this Panthers offensive line. Now, having PJ Walker is pretty much a bonus over Sam Darnold, because Sam Darnold turns over the ball way too much. I think with PJ Walker, they're going to pretty much make a run-heavy offense, and they're going to try to get to the Cardinals, and I just think that's not going to work. So I do like this Cardinals team to beat this Panthers team, and I do think that what's going to happen with Matt Rule? Are you going to finally move off of Sam Darnold, or what's going to happen? Are you guys going to finally look for a franchise quarterback? I don't know, but I do like the Cardinals here. Cardinals win, and to cover the spread, Cardinals win, let's say 34-17 over the Carolina Panthers. Next matchup, we have the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Los Angeles to play the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, the Chargers open up as 2.5-point favorites. What worried me about this Chargers team is they still can't stop the run. And what was worried about this Vikings team is that they can't stop anybody defensively. I'm going to take the Chargers because Herbert is better than Kirk Cousins, so I will take the Chargers and the 2.5 points. I think with this team, Dalvin Cook is going to try to run the ball over this defensive front of the Chargers. I think this Chargers passing attack is going to overwhelm this Vikings defense. And I think that with Justin Herbert at home, I know it's going to be not a neutral field because there's probably more Vikings fans out here in Los Angeles than there is probably Charger fans. But I think Justin Herbert will suffocate that entire Vikings defensive front, and especially that Vikings secondary. And let's not forget that the Chargers offensive line is getting better. So I really like the Chargers here. Chargers win over the Minnesota Vikings. Don't trust Kirk Cousins against winning teams. Chargers win 30-24 over the Minnesota Vikings. Next matchup, we have the Seattle Seahawks against the Green Bay Packers. There's two quarterbacks that are going to be coming back after one missing a couple weeks and one missing last week against the Chiefs. And the Packers are favored -3.5 over the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I do not know if Aaron Rodgers is playing this game, and I think he will, but if it's Jordan Love, I probably would lean Seattle side, but I presume that Aaron Rodgers will play in this game, so I do like the Packers -3.5 and to win this game and cover against Seattle Seahawks. I don't trust the Seahawks defensively a lot, and we have seen with the loss of Russell Wilson, this team has really much been offensively exposed. And I do know they put up points against Jacksonville Jaguars. You're supposed to do that. I don't know why the Bills couldn't. But I just think against this Packers team, with Aaron Rodgers coming back, I think they're going to be all pass happy against this defensive line and defensive secondary of this Seahawks team. And I think where Russ came back is still not going to be able to lift this team over the Green Bay Packers. Now, Russell Wilson's record in Green Bay, he has never won. But when he has played Aaron Rodgers in CenturyLink or now Lumen Field, he has been undefeated against the Green Bay Packers. It's a bad matchup for the Seahawks traveling up there up north. And I think that now when it's cold and it starts to snow or, that cold rain, much like icicles, I think I just got to favor the cold weather team, which is the Green Bay Packers. So I like the Green Bay Packers to win this game over the Seattle Seahawks. I think Russ comes back, has a good game, but I think Packers, since with that history of beating the Seahawks, especially in Lambeau, I like the Green Bay Packers here. Green Bay wins 34-27 over the Seattle Seahawks. Next matchup, we have the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to the Denver Broncos. Now, the Eagles come off as 3.5-point underdogs to the Denver Broncos. I'm going to take the Eagles to win this game and upset the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos finally got their win under Vic Fangio, like a good win under Vic Fangio to keep his job. And I think the last time I remember Denver getting a good win, like a great win, I think it was against like the Chargers back in like 2018, maybe like 2019 they did something spectacular, but I cannot remember. But I just think that in this matchup, you got to take the Eagles here. I think the Eagles are to play here. Jalen Hurts will try to do the best they can. And I do know they were close to beating the Chargers team. It was the bad coaching of Nick Sirianni that pretty much doomed them from the beginning. But I think playing against this Denver team is not really a Von Miller, like, oh, they got rid of Von Miller, now they're a better team. I think it's more of a head coaching issue of Vic Fangio, and especially the offensive coordinator, Pat Shurmur, I think is going to completely deteriorate over this Eagles team. And then let's not forget this. When Pat Shurmur played against the Eagles, he has a losing record. I do like the Eagles here against the Denver Broncos. I think Teddy is pretty much washed, and they need to run the ball, and they're going to try to do that, which is the Eagles' weakness. But their defense of the Eagles is very underrated. Let's not forget it. And I know that Justin Herbert was able to pass all over him, even though ranked third. They're going to try to clean that up. So I think that the Eagles win in Denver 24-22. Eagles win and upset the Denver Broncos. Sunday night matchup, we have the Kansas City Chiefs against the Las Vegas Raiders. And in this matchup, the Chiefs are favored by 2.5. I really like the Chiefs to win this game and to cover. I think the Chiefs defensively is getting a little bit better. And I do know they're playing against the Green Bay Packers. I know the Packers are bad without Aaron Rodgers. I get it. But also you have to realize is that with Steve Spagnuolo defenses, they always start off really bad and then they work their way up to get a little bit better. And I know we didn't see that much last year because the Chiefs weren't able to cover the spread. But was that because Steve Spagnuolo defense was getting better, or was that because the offense for the Chiefs was getting worse? I think in this matchup against this Raider team that has too much stuff going around, and I do know they signed Deshaun Jackson, which can take the top off of this Chiefs defense. I think that Carr coming home is going to be too much. We've seen this with Carr. Carr starts off very hot, and then at the end he starts off very cold. And I think that with this Chiefs team, that's exactly what you're going to get with this Raider. I think with this Raider team, that's exactly what you're going to get. A very hot start and then a very cold start. You lost to the Giants last week. That was expected. I called it. Like, I literally called it. You were going to lose to the Giants because it's too much turnover. And now you guys lost Damon Arnett, which makes me want to take the Chiefs. So I think the Chiefs will beat this Raiders team in Vegas. Give me the Chiefs to win 27-23 over the Las Vegas Raiders. Wins and covers. Monday Night Football matchup, which is the last matchup of this week. We have the Los Angeles Rams traveling to Santa Clara to play the San Francisco 49ers. Vegas has this Rams team favored by 4 points after getting blown out by the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to take the Rams to win this game and to cover. There's only one reason why I cannot bet the San Francisco 49ers at home, and it's one glaring stat that I just can't get my mind about. San Francisco's defense, as far as scoring, has allowed 29 points per game at home against a team that is coming off a loss. Sean McVay team that's coming off a loss. You got to take this Rams team who has scored better on the road. And I just think that with San Francisco scoring at home, it's almost like 24 points per game. So I really like this Rams team to come into San Francisco and beat them. Now I do know that Kyle Shanahan has always had his fair play against Sean McVay. Has pretty much won the matchups like the last couple years, but I think this is finally the stamp game where he says, listen, Kyle Shanahan, you're a good coach, but it's time for you to get your stuff packing. We are the Los Angeles Rams, and Los Angeles is better than San Francisco. And I think that in this matchup, you just got to take the Rams here. I think the Rams bounce back after the loss to the Tennessee Titans. Give me the Rams to win this game over San Francisco. Don't trust Jimmy G. Don't trust the San Francisco 49er defense at all. So I do like the Rams to win 30-20 over the San Francisco 49ers. For my underdogs of this week, I love the Dolphins plus 7.5 against the Ravens at home. I do like the Saints on the road to upset the Tennessee Titans. My bet of the week, I love the Lions plus 9.5 against the Steelers. And my last one, I like the Eagles plus 2.5 against the Denver Broncos. But anyways, this is No Offseason Media with Amari Sports. I will catch you guys later. Have a great day today. Hope you guys stay safe. I will catch you guys later. Peace.